Hello everyone, hope everyone is doing well. Today in this video we're going to learn about price discrimination. Now price discrimination is basically charging different prices to different individuals or groups. Now in some cases we do see price discrimination almost on a daily basis. Some examples are like if you look at airline tickets, based on what day you purchase the ticket, the prices are vastly different. You have movie tickets. Sometimes they'll give you a discount for watching a movie during the day, or you get senior citizen discounts. You have maybe discount in when buying in bulk, and there are other examples. So there are different types of price discrimination. We're going to look at three different price discriminations. So types. So basically, the names are first degree price discrimination, then comes second degree price discrimination, and then finally third degree price discrimination. So first let's look at first degree and then we'll talk about second degree and third degree. First degree price discrimination is when we charge each person according to their willingness to pay. So if you look at basically let's look at a supply and demand curve, then we can understand what's going on. Usually price discrimination is more prevalent with, let's say, a larger firm or a firm that has some level of control over a market. If it's a perfectly competitive firm, they don't have the ability to conduct in price discrimination. So let's look at, let's say this is going to be my price and quantity. Now, in this case, we can see that, let's say this is my demand curve. And to make it simple, let's consider my marginal cost curve as a straight line. Now, when we say somebody can be charged their willingness to pay, if you remember from before, there's a, what demand curve was basically defined as is that basically each point is telling me this at this point a certain amount of people are willing to buy at that price, and then at this price you have a certain number of people willing to buy at this price. So what first degree price discrimination does is that if this person goes, let's say this person is Chris, and Chris values the product at $20. Let's say this is the WTP of Chris, and this is John, and John values this product at $15 of the willingness to pay. So it's the same product, but they have different valuation. Basically, let's say that this is a monopolist. The monopolist knows exactly what Chris is willing to pay and what John is willing to pay, and they charge exactly those prices to Chris and John. And so they end up getting that much revenue out of selling those each product. Now, let's say this is my cost. My cost is $10 down here. So then my profit is going to be this vertical distance. And for John, it's going to be this vertical distance. So I earn basically, instead of charging the same price to everyone, I charge different prices based on their willingness to pay. And this happens sometimes, let's say, in places where there's a lot of bargaining going on. So when we're buying a house maybe, or when we're buying a car or jewelries, we see that there is, or if we go to a bazaar, we see that the seller assesses the buyer's ability to buy and pay, and so then charges a different price to each of the buyers. And so all this producer surplus, if the price was the same, then we would have all this as the consumer surplus. This is all captured by the seller. So the profit is basically the shaded region, and it is much higher than, let's say, if we charge just one price. So in first degree price discrimination, we are exactly able to pinpoint what each person is willing to pay. So we charge a higher price for people who are willing to pay more. We charge a lower price for people who are willing to pay less. And that's the profit level we earn. Now then, with that comes second degree price discrimination. Second degree price discrimination is when we give more discount to large purchases. So if we buy in bulk, we get a higher discount. If we buy one unit, we get a lower discount. So think about buying the same product from a retail store like Walmart and from a wholesale store like Costco. If we buy the same product in a large bulk, we get more discount. So what happens here is, if we do the same diagram again, we have our price and quantity. So this is my price, this is my quantity. My demand curve is down here, and my marginal cost curve, again, I'm just to make it easier, I'm considering it to be a straight line. So if someone buys 5 units, then I sell each of them at, let's say, $50, and my marginal cost is 10. Now, if somebody buys a unit of, let's say, 20 or 30 together, then I give them a discount of 25 or 50% off, and I sell it at 25 units. So people who are buying 5 units each, they pay $50 each. People who are buying at a larger quantity in the same time, they're paying a much lower price. So in this case, if I charged everybody $25, so all 30 individuals, let's say, or let's say I have 35 people coming in to buy from my product, from my market. If all 35 had to pay $25, then my profit would be, so 25 minus the marginal cost is 10 times 35, which would be 15 times 35, which is $525. But if I charge the first 5 units at 50, and the other ones who are buying at 30 units, I'm charging them at 25, then I can get 50 minus 10. This is for the first 5 individuals, plus 25 minus 10 for the other 30 individuals. So my profit becomes 40 times 5 plus 15 times 30, which is which is 200 plus 450, which equals to 650. So I get a much higher profit if I provide discounts. So instead of $525, I can earn $650. All right. Now then comes third degree price discrimination. Third degree price discrimination is when I segment the market into different groups, and then I sell to each group at a different price. So in third degree price discrimination, I charge different So I charge different prices to different groups. So examples are like senior discounts. So if you show that you're over 65, you get 10% off, or maybe you get airfares based on days of the week. So tickets on Friday afternoon would be probably much more expensive than tickets for Saturday morning. And so in this case, what I do is, instead of having one market, let's say, having this one market, I actually segment the market into two groups. So into two smaller groups. So like that. So instead of having, let's say, one large market, maybe this is a movie theater and this is for people age 65 plus, and this is for people age below 65. So this is the whole market, but I think that, I should lower the price for older individuals, so they may have a smaller demand curve, and the other group may have a much larger demand curve than them, or vice versa. So this is my marginal cost. So instead of having one price for everybody, let's say my marginal cost is 10, instead of charging that one price, what I do is I charge two different prices. So for the age 65 and above group, I may charge $12 for the movie ticket. For the other group, I may charge $20. So in that case, if this is a smaller group and this is a larger group, people age 65 and above may have a lower willingness to pay. So if I charge a lower price for them, and I probably check their ID to see if they're over 65, then I get this market, and which did not exist before if the price were at $20. And now what I'm doing is, maybe like people, and for people who are less than 65 years old, they really may want to watch the movie, and so they're willing to pay a higher price. So they pay $20 for that ticket, and I get to sell them at that price. So imagine this. Let's say this is my demand. It could be that if I charge $20, let's say this is my price, then these people would not buy the ticket because it's too expensive for them. But now what I'm doing is I have two different prices. I have one price at $20 here, or $12 here, and the other price is $20 here, or the marginal revenue curve here, just to keep it easier. So in this case, then I also get to sell it to this group along with this group, so I end up getting more profit. Okay, hopefully this was helpful and in understanding the differences between first-degree price discrimination, second-degree, and third-degree price discriminations. If you have any questions, please do comment below. Have a good one, and I'll see you at a later video.